Hello YouTube, Fresh Mika here for my third installment of my Squid torture series. I decided to go with that Squid on this one, actually based on a similar rant/review by Raccoon Lover 111. Now, Love That Squid is actually an episode that I will admit is not that bad in a torture series. You know, it kind of bring a bit of a light moment to this series, because to me this probably is going to be one of the lighter torture episodes, because the rest of them that I'm going to review are a lot worse. So now I should get to Love That Squid. Love That Squid starts off with a couple enters the Krusty Krab. I guess it must be near Valentine's or something. It's really stated in the episode. And a fish in love by the name of Frank is trying to order food for his girlfriend, but the thing is, Frank can't read. Very interesting. His girlfriend goes up and tries to help him, but she can't read either. Who would have imagined? And while they are having this touching moment, Squidward is actually on his break, so he's really not meant to help any customers at all. The two realizing that, hey, we both can't read, we must be meant for each other. This of course annoys Squidward, because Squidward is of course reading a book on love, and he's never really had that much of a love interaction before. Talking with this situation with SpongeBob tells him basically you can't give up on love. So while they're having their little discussion, out walks this female squid, basically giving herself an artistic review of the Krusty Krab. Recognizing similar elements that he likes, Squidward becomes nervous, realizing that now he has been hit by Cupid when it comes to this special squid. So then he begins hiding under the register. The new squid, realizing that there's no one there, doesn't think that, I guess the Krusty Krab is open or whatever, and begins to walk away. Now, Squidward, really wanting to ask her out, is way too nervous. SpongeBob decides to come in and help, and for some reason is able to operate the cash register and the boat underneath it like an actual mobile, and drives up, stopping Squivia, as her name has been revealed, in her tracks. SpongeBob then helps Squidward out in obtaining a date with Miss Squivia. Now, mind you, the joke when it comes to Squidward's dating is that he hasn't basically dated since like the 20s or the 30s or whatever, trying to imply that he's like really old or whatever, but I honestly believe he's only like 10 or so years older than SpongeBob. But if that's the joke they're going with, then that's fine. Now, clever SpongeBob's like, my best friend Squidward, which is a laugh because Squidward hates him. Basically prepping Squidward up and basically saying all the things that Squivia wants to hear. She thus agrees to go on a date with Squidward, basically making Squidward quite happy. Now, since Squidward hasn't been on a date in forever, it's up to SpongeBob to help him out. And this is where the episode gets creepy. Now, SpongeBob tells Squidward to meet him at the top of his pineapple for a practice date. Now, lo and behold, by the time Squidward goes up there, all prepared and ready, SpongeBob is dressed in drag. Basically dressed up like Sylvia. He has the purple dress, the black hair. He even takes his nose and shapes it like a squid. But lo and behold, he adds breast. That's right, SpongeBob puts himself on fake breast. First time I saw that, I will admit, I laughed my butt off. SpongeBob dressed up in drag with fake boobs. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh right now, thinking about the image in my head as we speak. Squidward, of course, is like the audience and is basically going, what in the world is going on here? And SpongeBob, trying to up and make his pitch a little high, soon begins to practice on the date. But the practice date begins to go wrong. First, SpongeBob simulates a restaurant date, supposedly where they went to that night, Squidward and Squivia. And there to help is Patrick, Now that's mistake number one. SpongeBob should know by now to never have Patrick help him with anything. So Patrick's basically there being the waiter, and instead of helping Squidward correctly, Patrick begins flirting with SpongeBob as if SpongeBob is the actual Squid. And of course Squidward is starting to get annoyed. And trust me, Squidward, it's not just you, the audience too. After the restaurant date goes bad after Squidward says it's pointless. Now mind you, I forgot to mention this, and I'm going to add this now. When SpongeBob and Squidward first started the practice date, SpongeBob convinced Squidward to drive him around several blocks, leading him back to his house, instead of just telling Squidward just to walk over to my house. He had him drive around several blocks all the way back to his house, thus angering Squidward. If I would add that in, because that's an important detail. Now, after everything goes wrong at the restaurant and Squidward basically hands SpongeBob's butt to him on a silver platter, who shows up? Squidward. And Squidward basically is like, well, I guess you don't want to go out with me now since I look like a jerk. And of course, Squidward apparently likes the bad boy types who don't take no crap from nobody. So she thus agrees to go out with Squidward, and they have a happy good time. At least from what I believe. And of course, it ends with Patrick dressed up in drag for the second time. If you guys haven't seen the one where Patrick thinks that the guy's trying to get him out of town or whatever, and basically thought that he was going to have a fake movie date and was expecting some plastic popcorn, where SpongeBob just sitting there confused, and then it ends. A light example, yes, but this episode kind of is very, like I said, strange, especially with the whole SpongeBob dressing in drag. I mean, all you had to do was help him out. You didn't have to do all of that at all. It was unnecessary. And I wonder why the writers have never brought back Squidward. Now, honestly, this is what I think. I think that Squidward is still Squidward, but I think they keep their relationship on the low. I think it's like that, which I don't mind it being like that at all. But that was Love That Squid. Not really much of a rant, except for the whole SpongeBob dressing in drag thing, and being completely weird and a creeper and thinking that Squidward is his actual friend. But that's really it for Love That Squid. This episode's not that torturous, but it's just creepy with the whole drag situation. Although I don't have a problem with people dressing in drag, it's just that SpongeBob kind of didn't really have to do all of that, especially with the fake boobs. That was very strange. Alrighty everyone, you guys can expect my 4th installment in this series to be a lot worse than this one. And it is going to be Slide Whistle Stooges. I hate that episode so much. Alrighty everyone, this is Fresh Mika, officially out.